This is lesson 6.2, adding integers. Now we'll start out with rules for adding integers. These are very important. Make sure you memorize these. First rule is if the signs are the same, you add and keep the same sign. So here's a couple of examples. You have 3 plus 4 equals 7. Again, the signs are the same, so you add and keep the same sign. Next, you have a negative 3 and a negative 4. Those signs are the same, so you add, you get 7, and both of them are negative, so your answer is negative 7. The second rule, if the signs are different, you subtract and keep the sign of the larger number. In this case, you got a 4 and a negative 3. Signs are different, so it's 4 minus 3 is 1. 4 is bigger than 3 and it's positive, so your answer is positive 1. Next, you've got negative 4 and a positive 3. Signs again are different, so it's 4 minus 3 is 1. 4 is bigger than 3 and it's negative, so answer is negative 1. More examples. Here you've got positive 7 plus 5, so in this case your answer would be 12. Next you've got negative 7 plus 5. Signs are different, so you subtract and keep the sign of the larger number. In this case 7 is larger than 5 and it's negative, so your answer is negative 2. Then you have positive 7, negative 5. Again, signs are different, so you subtract and keep the sign of the larger number. So in this case it's positive 2. And last, you got negative 7 plus negative 5. Signs are the same, so you add and keep the same sign. Now let's talk a little bit about absolute value. The absolute value of a number is the distance between the number and 0 on a number line. The absolute value of a number is A, written as A in the two brackets, your absolute value brackets. Again, absolute value of a number is distance, so distance can never be negative. Here's a couple of examples. Find the absolute value of the number. So here, this first one, to find the absolute value of 8. So again, it's positive 8 because again, distance can never be negative. So you have negative 8. Again, it's just the distance from 0 on the number line. So in this case, the distance from 0 to negative 8 is 8. So again, distance can never be negative. Now, here, with the negative 6 and the absolute value brackets, again, absolute value of negative 6 is 6 in this case. 6 in this case. But you've got a negative out front, which is same thing as multiplying times negative 1. So negative 1 times 6 is going to be negative 6. Alright, now let's talk about how we can solve these same equations, excuse me, but we're doing it on a number line. So we're going to start at 0 and we go a negative 5. So starting at 0, we go to negative 5. Then you go positive 8 from that direction. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you end up right here, which is a positive 3. And so if you work this like we did it with the rules, the signs are different, so you subtract, you get 3, and 8's bigger than 5, and it's positive 3. So that again shows that you end up at positive 3. Another example that you might come across is, it says the absolute value of x equals 12. What numbers could x be? In this case, it could be 12 or negative 12, because remember, if it's negative, absolute value of negative 12, it's distance. So again, absolute value can never be negative, so the absolute value of negative 12 would be positive 12 also. And again, also, the absolute value of 12 is 12. And last, here's a word type problem. It says Aaron has kept track of his earnings and expenses for 1 week. Find the sum of his earnings and expenses. So his allowance is $12, so that's a positive. School field trip cost him $3, so that's a negative. And then his pay from mowing lawns was $13, so that's a positive. Then he repaid his sister $5, so that's a negative. So the way they did it was they just added 2 at a time. They added the 12 and the negative 3. Signs are different, so you subtract, you get 9. And 12 is bigger than 3, so it's positive 9. Then they took the 9 and added 13 to it, which gives you 22. And then they take the 22 plus the negative 5. Signs are different, so you subtract and keep the sign of the larger number. 22 is larger than 5, and it's positive, so your answer is 17. The way I prefer doing it, and again, you can do it either way, it doesn't matter, is I like to keep the positives together and the negatives together and then combine them at the end. So you have a positive 12 and a positive 13. Add those together and you get a positive 25. You've got a negative 3 and a negative 5. Add those together and you get negative 8. Now we just want to make an equation out of this. Okay? So again, add 25 and negative 8. Signs are different, so you subtract and keep the sign of the larger number. 25 is bigger than 8 and 25 is positive, so your answer is 17, just like it was here. So either way you can work this problem out, is fine with me. So this concludes our lesson on adding integers.